So yeah, it's day 3 of the week for recording. This was kind of a challenging...
It's difficult, yeah. I think in the past, when I've looked for topics, I've just kind of like waited until I saw what randomly showed up. But I found myself like searching through Twitter and through different websites that I like. And like, what could we talk about today?
It seems like that might have actually been maybe a good thing, because it like forced us to like really dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
I got some fun topics today. I mean, we've had some finance topics this week during the week of making podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've had all kinds of topics. So this one is going to be a little bit more laid back, fun. I think.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a fish and a piano?
The difference?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're so much alike.
We'll try to find a difference.
Well,
Here, I'll just tell you.
Okay.
You can't tuna fish.
I love tuna fish.
I know you do. You know
Are
what?
you a fan?
I am not a fan of the way tuna smells, right? And so for that reason, like, I've never eaten it. And I used to not like a lot of different fish, but I do. I eat a lot of fish now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was walking through the grocery store the other day, and I saw, like, a pouch of tuna.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Mike likes tuna.
Yeah.
Maybe I should buy a pouch.
Yeah.
And then I didn't.
Well,
because I need tips.
Tuna tip.
Tuna tip.
Get the hickory smoked.
Oh.
It costs a little bit more, but I
does.
have converted myself over to the hickory smoke, and if they get rid of it, I don't know what I'm going to do with tuna. Because I love the hickory smoke. It's so good I can eat it without like putting anything on it or around it or whatever you do.
What's your brand preference?
Well, it's only made by one. It's the Star Kiss or whatever it is. It's got the little tuna guy on it.
Yep. He's kind of cute.
Yeah, he's tasty. Especially when they hickory smoke him. Well, today I wanted to go into the world of e-bikes again.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and a super controversial face app.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can talk about some of this stuff.
So yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Did you have something?
I have a couple little things. Netflix and maybe something else.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Welcome back to Lunchtime Tech Talk. I'm Chad.
And I'm Mike. So yeah, back into the world of e-bikes. Did you know that the e-bike episode that we did several weeks ago is our most popular episode?
I knew that at one point. I didn't know it still was.
It still is.
It kind of makes sense.
People like them.
Yeah.
People are researching them. And I can understand why. But today, I've got a couple of things that I want to talk about. Trek and Specialized.
Yeah.
Trek has been making a road e-bike for a while. Mm-hmm. They've had one for a while. But Specialized just now jumped into the world of road e-bikes. And I want to talk about both of the companies and their commercials. But first I want to go into each one of these bikes that are kind of in the commercial and what they're about. So Specialized has made the most popular e-mountain bike as of right now. Is
it a stump jumper?
No, it's I can't remember. It starts with an L. I can't remember the actual full name of the e-mountain bike. But if you go on to any of the e-mountain bike YouTube channels and you look at any of the people that have done reviews, they all rate this one as number one. And we mention it in our e-mountain bike one.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since, and their names are always kind of weird. But they decided to jump into the road bike world, which can be controversial because road bikers are real big on, like, you gotta put the effort in and all that stuff. So, but we have a coworker who has had a hip replacement and can't quite get back into where he was before, but he still wants to ride with a group of people that he wants to ride with. And so he tried out an e-bike.
Yeah.
And he is 100% sold on it because he can keep up with the group.
Right.
Still get the enjoyment out of it, still get a workout, and blah, blah, blah.
The last time I talked to him was when everyone was gearing up for the Hintery.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, hey, so are you going with them? And he was like, I don't know, they're about 2 or 3 miles an hour faster than me. Mm-hmm. And that's who this is for.
Yeah.
Like, exactly because he hasn't always been that guy. He could always keep up before.
Yeah, he was always able to keep up before. So, but Specialized is jumping into it. They created their first e-road bike called the Turbo Creo, Creo SL. So Turbo, I'm going to call it Turbo Creo SL. That is their entry-level model.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'll go ahead and hit you with the price of the entry-level model. It's $13,500. Entry-level. They do make four models. The top of the line is the Founders Edition, and it's $17,000. So these are not...
You know what? You told me that yesterday, the 17,000 number, and I was like, ooh. But when your entry is 13, 17's not that bad.
Right. Here's the deal. It looks amazing. The entry level even looks amazing. It's hard to tell that this thing is an e-bike.
This is one of the... So, it's obviously carbon.
Yes.
This is one of the... And carbon down tube... All the carbon tubes, but carbon down tubes specifically are a lot larger anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is where the look of a road bike has been for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look that much bigger than what you're kind of used to.
Exactly.
And it's got all this stuff shoved inside of it.
Yep. It's pretty cool. I mean, I think the price is a little steep, but I think that this is the cost of becoming somebody who would buy this is somebody who wants to step into the forefront of technology.
Yeah.
And Specialized has a reputation with making a bike really, really well, winning a lot of races. So, I mean, they went all out. This is not an entry-level bike. Whenever you buy this bike, the entry-level version is like the equivalent of buying one of their real nice $5,000-$6,000 road bikes. I mean, it's good quality.
Right. You're not getting 105 components on this. You're
not getting aluminum. You're not getting...
Right.
You're not getting $1,000 bike that they just shoved a motor in, and
right.
You're getting several $1,000 bike, $6,000-$7,000 bike, and then they put a motor in it. But what I thought was really cool about this one, there's a maximum speed that is allowed by law, and it can go 28 miles an hour, which is the max. And this one will assist you up to 28 miles an hour. A lot of the older ones, like last year's models of different brands, would only go to like 22. So 28 miles an hour, you can hang with anybody. You can literally hang with a pro.
Oh, yeah.
You could hang with a pro if you have a pro frame and you're not a pro, which is amazing. The coolest part of this bike is the battery technology that they put into it. And I love this. For a maximum of 120 miles.
Yeah.
How did they accomplish this? Well, let me tell you.
Tell me.
So the down tube battery that's inside the bike will go 80 miles.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that this is rated on like the normal level, not the turbo fast level.
Sure.
So 80 miles, which is amazing. But then they gave you the option to carry an extra battery, but it's in the shape of a bottle.
Yeah, it looks like a water bottle.
Yeah, it looks like a water bottle. It'll give you 40 miles. You've got 2 water bottle holders on this bike.
Yeah.
If you wanted to tack on more miles, you could just stick another 40-mile bottle on your bike.
Stick it on your seat tube. Or you're saying up to 120.
Yeah.
If you have a 60 or 80 mile ride planned with your buddies and you're just not there.
Yeah.
You're not in shape for it.
Yeah.
You could turn up the power a little bit.
Put that sucker on super turbo mode, whatever it is,
and you've got your extra like you're going to be fine.
Yes. The mileage on a road bike is, I think, why we haven't seen a lot of these companies produce a road bike version.
Right.
Because I think the sweet spot, just like with GPS watches, is a marathon. With the bikes, e-bikes, a sweet spot is 100 miles. You want to be able to do a full century.
Right.
So the mileage is really amazing on this bike. The price of it is a little steep, but this is the cost of getting into something new.
I want to add something here. So
Okay.
I've been scrolling through a review site while you've been talking about this.
Uh-huh.
The range extender bottle battery is $399.
Okay.
And before we did our like lawnmower battery episode, I would have been like $400 for a battery. That's insane.
Right.
But I know now that that's not outrageous.
That's pretty normal.
The Cobalt, like to buy another of what I have was like, I want to say between $300 and $400.
I think that's what
my
you
whole
said.
mower was $550.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even paying for the mower. I'm paying for the battery. Anyway, so I just wanted to throw that out there too. Yeah,
so it's not unreasonable.
No.
And really, whenever you're looking at the price of the bikes, right? Let's say they get down to $6,000, tacking on an extra $400 to have 40 extra miles.
Yeah.
Is not really. I mean, you're talking small amounts at that point.
Yeah.
To be guaranteed, you know what, I can ride a century and I'll be good.
Yeah, if you've already decided that $13,000 is for you, then yeah, the $400
Just get
is not
the bottle.
Right. Just get the bottle.
But this bike also has, I won't go into all the details. You can check it out on their website, but it has all kinds of other cool technology built into it. It works with an app. It has a lot of specializes features to make the ride more comfortable. But I did want to go into Trek. Trek has one, and the reason why I wanted to do Trek is because Trek and Specialized both came out with a commercial about their bikes. But the Trek that I want to talk about is I believe it's called the Domane Plus.
Some people say Domane, some people say Domane.
Okay.
But yeah.
But it's the Plus version, which I assume means
the Plus
power.
means more.
Yeah, Plus means more. This one's significantly cheaper. It starts at $7,000. It'll give you 70 miles on a charge. It will also do 28 miles an hour with all the way up to assist. This one has a removable battery. So you should be able to purchase an additional battery, and it's also carbon. Now, I give the Trek bike a B+ on its looks. It definitely screams more e-bike.
It looks like the Super Commuter.
Yes.
Where the crank motor is and all that stuff. Yeah, it's external.
It's a B+ in my books. The Specialized, I gave it an A+. Just because they really tried to make this bike look like a traditional road bike.
Well, in my eyes, it still had what you think of when you think bottom bracket chainring.
Yep.
Like it looked like a road bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these two bikes, the reason why I said earlier was the commercial. I love the direction that Specialized and Trek are going with on the commercials. I don't know if you've watched the commercials, Chad, but on the Specialized commercial, there's an announcer, and I want to say his name is Phil, but I can't remember. He's been around in cycling for years, and he's commentated.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's commentated the Tour de France and all the major bike rides.
Phil Leggett?
Yes, Phil Leggett. They have this professional bike rider riding on this road, just looking pro, right?
Uh-huh.
Just like somebody in the tour would be, just pro, looking like they're working hard. And then out of nowhere, they have Phil Leggett holding a microphone, riding a road bike, passing him, announcing
one-handed
stuff. Yes. And I love it because they're adding humor to it of, look, you need to have a sense of humor about this because there are people out here who want these things.
Right.
Phil Leggett couldn't ride with this pro rider right
Not
now,
a chance,
but he could keep up with him with this e-bike and pass him. So
nice.
It's basically saying you can ride with anybody. And then on the Trek commercial, they go same route with humor. But you see this guy who's really flamboyant, and they're sitting in a bar, and he's got his two friends by him, and they're drinking a beer, and they put the glass down, and they go back to wherever they're going, like their room or whatever, and he's like, I'll have another one. And you're like, what's going on here? And then it shows them all getting up, kitted up.
The next day.
They're kitted up in their team outfit. He gets on his bike, and he's just, of course, Mr. Chatty Cathy, just going, and just during the whole ride, he's like shoving, like he's that guy who goes back to get the bottles, and he's like shoving. He's like, sure, just give me a few more. Give me a few more. I'll take them up there. He's like, hey, buddy, you want some water? You want some water? And he's just kind of strolling, talking next to him. And then the next scene, he's like, what's going on? You tired? Are you tired?
With the hand on his back.
And then he's taken off away from him. And of course, every scene, the team members around him are like, you can tell they're like rolling their eyes and like, oh, you're so annoying. And he's on an e-bike.
And so in that instance, though, like they're all pros.
Yeah.
But one of the pros has an e-bike.
Right.
And that's just not fair.
Just taunting them. But I thought that's a perfect way to sell these, because you got to take this attitude of like, well, you're not really riding if you're on an e-bike. Yeah. But dude, it's not always about crushing it. Not every single time.
Right.
Like
sometimes you just want to get out, but you're tired or you're sore or whatever. Or I've got this loop that I really love to do, and I don't have time today. If I could ride a little faster,
it's not always
I could do my loop.
It's not always about getting out, killing it. Yeah. You're still going to get a workout, right?
Right.
So I just love the direction that they're going with this. I think e-bikes are here to stay, for one.
Yeah.
I mean, they are gaining popularity. Anybody that I've ever talked to that has ridden one has just been like, dude, they're so fun.
So I want to point out something on the Specialized that caught my attention.
Okay.
The mountain bikes we know are heavy.
Yes.
Road bikes in general are not. Mountain bikes in general are a little heavier. You can pay more, and they can get pretty light. But the Specialized was 27 or 28 pounds.
That's pretty light.
That's pretty light.
Considering you got batteries, which are super heavy.
Motorized parts in your down tube, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that to me is pretty impressive. I'm looking and I'm not seeing a quoted weight on Trek, but Trek usually doesn't give you a weight because they like to say things on their website like different levels of paint and different sizes cause discrepancies. If you really want to know how much one weighs, go to your local bike shop.
And I get why.
I do too.
Because they don't want you looking at their website and being like, well, I'm not going to buy that bike. It weighs a half a pound heavier than the other ones. Whenever, in reality,
it might not.
It might, but it might ride better.
Right.
Like if you just say, I need a 17.5 pound bike, not a 18 pound bike.
Right. You could probably lose a half a pound. And
call me fat. Call me fat, bro.
I said that if the half a pound matters to you, you could drop it.
Fine. I got a 26 pound bike. I need to lose like 10 pounds. Mine doesn't have a motor on it either.
So 20 pounds then.
So yeah, I love talking about e-bikes just because,
too.
For one, I've never ridden one, and I just have this
in my mind. I still can't believe that you've never gotten on one. And here's the thing. I have hyped it so much that you would think in a normal world it couldn't possibly be as much fun when you finally do get on one. It's gonna be as much fun.
I'm really hoping so, and I don't want to get on one now because whenever I do ride one, I'm gonna want one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait until the timing's right. And I've often said this: whenever my girls are driving themselves to school, that's when I'll start doing my research to get one, because then I have the opportunity to commute in from Republic, which would be about 15-20 miles.
Yep.
And if I want to get a workout in, I'll just not use as much assist.
Yeah.
If I want to just enjoy the ride, I'll put the sucker on high speed.
And this was something I brought up yesterday when we were talking with one of our other cycling buddies. I likened this to when you're standing in the on-deck circle and you got a donut on your bat,
Mm-hmm.
and you're swinging that heavy bat.
Yes.
Like, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, if you were out on a ride and you decided, you know what, I want to do some hill repeats,
Mm-hmm.
you could just turn everything off. You've got a 27-pound bike.
Yep.
You know, do some hill repeats and then turn your stuff back on.
Right.
And cruise home. Like, so you got a legit workout in the middle of this ride. But, like, the whole ride doesn't have to be a workout.
Yeah. Getting to the hill that you want to do repeats on,
right,
can be easy.
Because around here, the hills are not all that frequent.
No.
Not good ones, anyway.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really... I whenever you said that, I was like, that is a perfect analogy. And then I started thinking about, I'm like, cycling is like the opposite of weightlifting. Like, weightlifting, you want to get more weight, more heavy, and you know the heavier weight you lift, the stronger you're going to get.
Right.
But it seems like as you get better at cycling, you want to get a lighter bike.
Right.
You want to make it easier.
You want to get a lighter bike, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were doing hill repeats with a 27-pounder, and then you had a regular road bike that you went out and rode, like, you're probably going to drop 5 or 6 pounds.
Right.
Which is gross.
Yeah.
Because my Madone is, with the wheels on and everything, it's right at 20. Like 20 point something pounds. And so it's so sick that this is only 27 or 28. Like,
right.
It's not that different.
No, it's really not. And, of course, with the assist, it's going to feel like it's a 3-pound bike.
Right.
So.
Right.
But yeah. E-bikes are fun.
I know you gave them the A+, but the paint job is beautiful.
Is it?
It's sparkly, and it's kind of a purpley green, kind of fades back and forth depending on how the light's hitting it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Specialized has a very pretty bike.
Yeah, they did a good job with it.
They did do a good job with it.
I think they will get rave reviews just like they have with their e-mountain bike.
Yep.
Did you want to talk about your topics?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about Tesla first or Netflix?
Either one. You pick.
Either one? Okay. I just saw this in kind of in passing, but Tesla decided to drop the price of their 3 by $6,410.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. So if you were in the market, you were looking at getting a 3 anyway. Now's the time.
It's much cheaper.
Yeah. I don't know what they were before, but the article I saw was this guy who had just bought a 3 weeks before, and he bought, like, I guess the super tricked out version, which is $68,400.
Okay.
I didn't know you could get a 3 for that much money.
Well, not anymore.
Right. And that was his complaint.
Yeah.
So this was his 3rd Tesla that he had bought, which that alone sounds crazy to me because they haven't been around that long.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
But anyway, so he was mad because
technology got cheaper.
Why'd you lower the price on a thing that I already bought? Which all of us have that story somewhere in our life.
Yeah.
Where we've been watching, and then finally decided to pull the trigger.
Yep.
Because the 3's been out long enough.
It's been
like, it's not like he just was an early adopter and now they're cheap. Like, he waited. It just happened to be real close to when he bought.
At least it wasn't like, whenever you first sent that to me, I thought the same thing you thought, that he ordered it, went to bed, and got up the next morning and it had dropped that much.
Right.
Like,
right.
That would have been like, cancel my order.
Well, the first time I read it, it says 3 weeks in the article, and I read 3 days for whatever reason, and I was like, ooh, that sucks.
That stings. Sucker.
Yeah. And then on Netflix lost 13% yesterday.
Dude, this has been...
Which was the 17th. Now, they've been on a decline for a little while with all the Disney Plus announcements and now HBO... No, not HBO Go.
Now.
HBO Now through AT&T. And then Warner Brothers, I think, is coming out with their own thing. And, like, all these different players are taking everything back. Netflix lost The Office They've lost friends, like...
Which were huge.
Right? And so they've been on this little tumble. But yesterday, their subscriber data came in for the quarter, and they missed their marks. So they were expecting to add 352,000 subscribers in the U.S., and instead they lost 130,000. So yeah, I think this is one of the first times that they've lost subscribers as a net. They did add 2.83 million new paid subscribers worldwide, but they were expected to add 4.8. So they missed that by 2 million. And they're expecting their numbers to bounce back in the third quarter because Stranger Things released in July, which is in this new quarter.
Yep.
And so they're expecting everything to just bounce back like nothing ever happened. But it's just a cliff when you look at their chart. So they went from 363 a share at 3:50 p.m. to 3:15 an hour later.
Ouch. That hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely going to have the struggle, like you said, with all these new things coming out, the Disney Plus, the Apple, the Warner Brothers thing that you were talking about. I mean, there's going to be a struggle. It's going to be this constant back and forth, and there's no contract on these things. So something, you're not watching it, you could drop it for a month and be like, okay, new show's out, I'll pick it up the next month. Yeah,
there's no cancellation fees or anything like that, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge advantage, but it's also a disadvantage, right? It's good for the consumer, it's good for them because they have people that will drop off, but then they'll come back.
Right.
So they're under pressure to produce like crazy good shows because they want people to keep that subscription.
And I will say, in some of the articles I read, that was one of the things, one of the people from Netflix was saying that losing The Office and Friends is going to end up being good for them because now they can spend all that money on original content.
Yeah, so I've heard that's expensive.
They were very expensive shows to keep a hold of.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't think it would happen this soon. I thought it was going to be like fall. Yeah, we were going to start to see these reports, but to see them already. But I also saw one article after you told me about that because it seems like now it's popped up everywhere. Right. Because that's the way Google works. Somebody was saying that they partially blame it also on their increased price because they jumped in price.
They did, but in this quarter specifically, they didn't increase in the U.S., but they did increase, I saw that somewhere, in Britain and either Spain or Sweden, one of the countries that starts with an S, and a couple of others. And they did notice that those, it affected those specific regions.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I had was this Face app. It's back. Apparently this was a controversial app in the past, and now it's back again. And you probably have seen this all over the place where people are taking photos of themselves and turning into really old people. Yeah. They're hilarious. Yes. But there's a lot of people that are security experts that are very, very concerned by this. This company is called Wireless Lab, and they're based out of Russia. Yep. And what they're concerned with is their terms and conditions. The terms and conditions, basically, they say this inside the terms and condition. Somewhere inside there it says, may transfer information that we collect about you, including personal information across borders and from your country or jurisdiction to other countries or jurisdictions around the world. Now, the company came back and said, the data cannot be reasonably used to identify particular individual users. But what people are really concerned about is this facial recognition technology. You're taking a picture of yourself, uploading it to their server that's over in a foreign country that we have had controversial stuff with over the last 4 to 5 years, easily. More than that, but you've heard about it a lot in the news with the election and stuff since 2016. You're just giving them your face.
Well, and it's like I told you about China. Like, the reason that their facial recognition stuff is so good is because their 1 billion population is forced to submit to it.
Mm-hmm.
The more data you feed into a system and give AI learning capabilities, the better results you get.
Right.
And so we're just willingly feeding Russia's facial recognition.
Yeah. They basically equated this to the Facebook issue.
The Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, the Cambridge Analytica, where people were going on and doing these quizzes and
Yep.
not realizing really what they were giving up.
Right.
And that's the downfall of all this. You think that you're just like taking a picture of yourself and turning yourself into an old person, but really, as soon as you download the app and you say okay, you have given up all kinds of data. I mean, you could be giving up data that is not even, I don't even know if it's really your kind of data to give up, because they can get access to contacts and all that stuff, and you might have family members who don't want to take part in this, but they're in your contacts, and now you've shared their contact information with that company.
Well, one of the podcasts that I listen to daily, he said, I didn't even upload myself to this, but one of my jackass friends sent my picture in and then forwarded it to me to show me what I'd look like when I'm old.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's not even...
Right.
You know?
That's what a lot of people are worried about, too, is this whole, like, you're not participating, but you have pictures out there on the internet that people are using.
Right.
They are hilarious.
Yeah, of course they are.
The pictures are hilarious. They even do a face swap. Somebody did a face swap with Tim Cook, and it looked like an extremely young Tim Cook.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. But what these companies are grabbing from your device, who knows?
Right.
It's kind of scary.
The other thing, I don't know how most apps work, but this one in particular, they said instead of everything being processed in your phone, like, you are actually sending your picture somewhere else to a server. So like with Snapchat and stuff, like, that is in your phone, or at least it seems like it.
It's not.
Well, the filter part of it. Like, when I'm just holding it up in front of me before I've snapped a picture, that's just me.
Yeah,
that's just my phone.
filtering,
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, as soon as you take the picture, then Snapchat has your picture.
Right.
That part I wasn't. I'm not that naive.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, just the live before you've clicked take the picture or whatever, like, those filter things are live, and this is going out and coming back. So they're getting your face completely undoctored.
Right.
And because you want this thing to work really well, you've given them the best view of your face you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a mugshot.
Right. I want this to be perfect. I want, every part of my face to be seen and all of that sort of thing.
And I think the big difference between, like, what Snapchat is doing and what this place is doing is Snapchat's servers are U.S. servers.
Right.
So they might have servers overseas, but if I'm right, then Snapchat's a U.S. company, I believe. Do you know?
Say that again.
Snapchat's a U.S. company, right?
As far as I know, I think it's... Well, that'd probably be a lie.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. But this company is definitely a Russian company.
Yes. If you would like to opt out of your binding arbitration, which you agreed to when you downloaded the app, you can do so in writing. And here's where you send that address. Wireless Lab 000, comma 16 Avtovskaya 401, St. Petersburg 198096, Russia.
So not only that, you're going to send them a letter.
Right, giving them your home address.
Might have your DNA on it.
Because you've licked the envelope to steal it. Yeah, this is just a ploy and a plot.
Man, I know that
it's going to be like that movie Us. They're going to create a whole bunch of clones of us and send them to kill us.
They don't need two of me out in the world. It's not a good thing.
We don't need two of anybody in the world.
Unless you're identical twins, and then you're okay.
Still, you can have different thought processes.
Well, that's all I had. Want to do some crazy tech?
Yeah, let's do some crazy tech. I love it when you think this tech's crazy. Throw your hands in the air if you're a real player.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was, I'm awful at this, but I'm good at this at the same time. That's not Busta Rhymes.
No.
Not even close.
No.
Oh, man. It's not. It's there, but it's not. What is it?
How you living, Biggie Smalls? In mansion,
Oh,
Benz is
my
good.
gosh. Biggie
Ends
Smalls.
to my friends, and it feels stupendous.
How did I not get that? Well, I'll go first, because I think you went first yesterday.
I think I did.
Or last week.
Whenever it was.
So this is a technology that's not out yet, but it's being talked about being put into the 2020 iPhones. So rumors are out that far. It's called time of flight 3D sensor. What do you think that means?
I don't know, but it made me think of something.
Okay.
There's an app that you can download called Send Me to the Heavens, I think. And it will measure how high in the air you can throw your iPhone.
That's a terrible idea. And I could see how you could get that.
Yes, that's why I went there, yeah.
This is not a sensor to chuck your iPhone to see how it goes. No, it's a really weird name for, basically, it's just like the true depth sensor that's on the front-facing camera that reads your Face ID. But essentially what this sensor can do is it can go further than the true depth sensor that's on the front-facing camera. So this is a sensor that they're going to put on the back camera that will act similar to the true depth camera. So the true depth camera is the one, of course, where you get the little infrared beams that shoot out of it to read your face so you can log into your iPhone with your face.
Okay.
So it's similar technology, but it can go further. So what it can do is it can do high fidelity 3D photos. So you could get actual true depth of things.
Huh.
So in theory, you could use this technology with, if you think about it, with augmented reality. You could hold your phone up to something from where you stand.
Yeah.
And it could tell you the exact precise distance from where your phone is to that object.
Nice.
And then it could tell you the distance between the object that you just looked at and another object. So you could really get real accurate information based off of this new sensor that's coming out for augmented reality, which is going to be really neat. It's not only going to be neat for like pictures and video, you could get additional information out of it, and your pictures could potentially come out even better because it could tell what is close to you, what's not close to you, and you could really truly focus in on specific items.
Yeah.
But if you held your phone up and you were looking down a street with an augmented reality app, it could tell you with more detail how far something is away from you. So you, like if you're walking down the street and you see, oh, here's the restaurants, it could actually potentially hover signs above those restaurants.
Oh, fun.
In a more accurate manner.
Yeah.
Right now it's just kind of guessing the distances,
right.
But with this it could get further distance. So it's called time of flight 3D sensor. It's just like the true depth. And it sounds like in 2020, that might be the big enhancement to the iPhone cameras.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. What do you got?
I was watching a Smarter Every Day YouTube video the other day.
Yeah.
On tattoos.
Oh, okay.
And I don't even know how I got there. You know how YouTube works.
Yeah. Just gives you what it knows you want to watch, right. But you don't know that.
Right?
Yeah.
But, so I always thought that tattoos were ink, but they're not.
What?
I mean, they are.
I was sold that it was an ink tattoo whenever I got my tattoo.
It's actually different heavy metals.
It's not Colombian crystals?
That they just... No, it's not Folgers. Was that Folgers?
I don't know. Remember the Chris Chris whatever. It's not crystals. And he throws the table over in SNL.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I thought of. Anyways.
But it shoves little pieces, little ground up flakes of heavy metals under your skin.
This is disturbing.
Which is why, okay, and so then instantly, white blood cells come and start attacking it because it's foreign, right? So over time, you know how your edges get not so distinct and some of that kind of stuff, and especially like the colored ones if it's like almost the airbrush look,
Yeah.
those fade away faster.
Right.
So the way white blood cells get rid of something is they just envelop a thing and then like carry it out of your body, right? So on the smaller bits of pigment, they can envelop that and get it out, but like the larger chunks, they can't. So how laser tattoo removal works is they hit it with this beam of light that superheats the chunk of metal so fast that the whole thing doesn't heat up evenly at the same time, and it blows apart. And so now you have smaller pieces that the white blood cells can come and carry those away. And so that's why it sometimes takes a few treatments.
Yeah.
Because like you got to give your body time to like get it out of there.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's still some left, and so you come back and do it again. But
that is interesting.
Yeah.
I had no idea that that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And I've got a tattoo.
Yeah, you do. I always forget.
Yeah,
because
I
it's
do
way
too.
up on your shoulder.
And I don't wear sleeveless.
Right.
And I very rarely go swimming.
Never with the bro tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I thought about getting a bro tank for mowing.
Did you?
But I don't know if I should.
I think you should.
I always feel weird with like sleeveless shirts. It's just not my thing. I need to get my guns bigger.
My wife bought my son some bro tanks for the summer, and every time I see him, because his arms are little toothpicks, but it's so cute.
It's like, what up, bro?
What up, bro? That's a nice tank.
Nice. That's interesting. So now I know if I ever go get the tattoo removed, which I don't have plans to.
Yeah. I like your tattoo.
I like it. Let me tell you something.
It's kind of like your YouTube channel.
Let me tell you something about. You're saying you like my YouTube channel.
I do. I subscribe to it.
Let me just say that I got a tattoo on a whim because of some things that I accomplished. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. That's a whim tattoo?
Kind of. Like, I talked about it for about a month, and I call that a whim. Like,
okay. That's
it
fair.
wasn't something that I've always desired to have. Like, it was like, I'm going to talk about this for a month, and I'm going to permanently do it to my body. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like, it's like...
I understand. It's not like since 18 you've said, I'm going to have a tattoo one day. I just don't know what it's going to be yet.
Right.
And then you decided.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't the case.
So I got one, and I woke up the next morning, and I was like, huh.
I guess I got that now.
I guess I have this now. And it took me probably a few months to like really be like just okay with it. And now I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Because for one, like I said, I don't wear sleeveless shirts.
Well, and even like you've got on a short sleeve shirt today, and it's a what I would call like a more modern short sleeve. Like the sleeves don't come all the way down to your elbow.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even peek out of this.
Yeah. Now, do I wish I could be that guy that like could sport like a sleeve tattoo and everybody'd be like, yeah, like, that dude's badass.
That makes sense.
That fits that guy.
Right.
I'm not that guy.
No.
The balding guy who doesn't shave his head can't wear the sleeve tattoo.
Well, you don't have the roid head. You don't have like the big roid head that would take well to being fully shaved.
Yeah, I have the little skinny punk head. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to shave my head all the way, so embrace balding and cover up my tattoo, and I'm good to go.
There you go.
All right, that's all I had for this week. How about you?
Oh, I had something while we were talking, and then I forgot it. So that may be all I have, too. So that's going to do it for us for this week, which is the third episode this week. Which is just insane. We should never do this again.
It is a little much.
Yeah. You can find our show notes on the web at LunchTimeTechTalk.com. You can find the podcast and listen to it at Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. You can find us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at LunchTimeTechTalk, and on Twitter at LunchTimeTechT1. We had a new follower today.
We did.
From a fairly large account.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
So that was exciting.
That was fun.
Yeah. So join that person and like us and follow us at LunchTimeTechT1. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MSUMac. That's MSUMACC. Mike, where you at?
I am on Twitter at run_bike_Mike, and I'm on Instagram and YouTube at runbikemike.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.